Hi everyone, this is Kelly from The Truth in Story, and I am here to do another fable and reading, or fable reading, where I am going to randomly pick an Aesop's fable and then do a reading with the John Bauer Tarot that I am getting to know this month. So I did have some questions as to this edition. Slow and Steady Wins the Race. This is an edition put out by Barnes & Nobles. I bought it for, I think, $10 at Barnes & Nobles plus my coupon, so it would have been under that. And it was just sweet, and I liked the illustrations on it, and so I snagged it up. Again, I know I have a couple versions of Aesop's Fables. I don't know if they're down in my locker or what, but I really like the cover of it as well, so you can't ever have too many Aesop's Fables is my theory. So I am just going to get in, we're just going to pick a fable, and I'm just going to stop it and stick my hand on a fable, because that's how we roll. There's two on this page, but I'm going to read this one, The Goat Herd and the Goats, that's the one that came as soon as I saw it. I thought, okay, that's the one. During a snowstorm in the depth of winter, a goat herd drove his goats for shelter to a large cavern in a rock. It happened that some wild goats had already taken refuge there. The man was so struck by the size and the look of these goats, and with their superior beauty to his own, that he gave to them all the food he could collect. The storm lasted many days, and the tame goats, being entirely without food, died of starvation. As soon as the sun shone again, the strangers ran off and made the best of their way to their native wilds. "Ungrateful beasts!" cried he, "is this the way you reward him who has served you?" "How do we know," replied the last of the departing flock, "that you will not forsake your new friends in time of need, even as you forsook your old ones?" So the goat herd had to go goatless home, and was well laughed at by all for his folly. So the nugget of wisdom to be gleaned from this is to be true to your own. And that's an interesting one. And you see several stories in Aesop's Fables that have this similar concept, being true to what you have, being grateful and focusing on what it is that you do have, not looking for the grass was being greener on the other side of the fence. There are quite a few different fables that relate to that kind of concept of he had in his hand, as part of his belongings, he had these wonderful tame goats. And as soon as he saw something that looked like it might be better, he gave up what he had to grasp at something that he didn't even have. He just gave, his food away to it in the hopes that he could have something better. So it's interesting because I don't think that these stories necessarily say never, go out and have adventure, never try to gain new things or to improve your lot or improve your situation, but to be present with what you actually have and be true to what you actually have, and to not just give that up willy-nilly because something might look a little bit bigger or brighter or bolder than what you currently have. Because then, of course, as the big goat said, how on earth would the big goats even trust? Think about it. Perhaps had the goat herd just shared what he had amongst all of them instead of giving it all to the new goats. As the sun had come up, the goats would have seen that he had taken care of everything in his domain and stayed with him anyways, and he would have given, garnered them. So there, you have to think about being true and honest to what is yours and what is part of you, and honor that, and then that energy going out into the world is going to be far more rewarding. Even had the other goats ran off when the sun came up, he would still have what he started with. He would have been true to what he had, and so he wouldn't have been goatless and been a laughingstock of his village, so to speak. So being true to your own, and in terms of a reading sort of way, there's so many ways this can be, right? Being true to yourself, being true to your own self and who you are, being loyal and true to those such as friends and groups and things of that nature, family, these kinds of things. Being true to them is far better than trying to find something else and putting your loyalty and your resources outside of those things that you should have loyalty, because then you just end up losing everything. So I do think it's a lovely, and again, as I said, there are several different stories that have, there's the one where, I can't remember what it's called, but the dog has a piece of meat in his hand, in his mouth, and he is going across some water on like a bridge or something, and he sees his reflection in the water with the meat, and so he drops the meat he has in his mouth so that he can grab the meat in the reflection. Of course, then he ends up losing the meat. So it's that going after shadows, right? Then you're just gonna lose everything. So this idea of the grass not always being greener. And again, I believe none of these stories say not to strive for something more, but to do so in such a way that you are true to who you are and to what you have, so that there is growth, not loss there. And so, of course, that can apply to so many different things. That can apply to our own gifts and our own self and our possessions. Like, there's so many different ways that we can roll with that. And apparently it's an important theme amongst some of the fables. So let's see what we get out of that. So first one we have is the Fool. The second card is the beautiful, let's see, this must be the Queen of Wands. This is the first court card, but I'm going to assume that's a Queen of Wands. We'll double check with the book because we are working through this new deck together. And then the last card that we have, oh no, I already pulled from there. I got myself out of whack. The last card, we get again the Eight of Wands that we had before. Ooh, what was that? Ooh, oh, a bug dropped on me. Sorry. And look at that. There's I love this one too. Can we just talk for a minute about this Eight of Swords with the moose? Love this deck. Okay, sorry. Okay, so we're the Queen of, this is beautiful though, right? I'm going to assume this is the Queen of Wands, but we're going to check because, as I said, we are working through, whoa, let's not drop other decks into the flame. I'm pretty sure, a lot of times Little Scarabeo has a little indexy thing that tells us what, but that must be the Queen of Swords. So we're just, or it's Queen of Wands, sorry. So I'm just going to assume so. Let me find the wands. But it should say something. Yeah, a field of flowers blossoms brightly. A queen, her crown removed, sits in the field enjoying the moment. So she's enjoying in the moment, right? She is sitting with what it is that she has right there and now. She's not looking over to the forest into another area and wishing she had something over there. She's not looking up into the sky to see the clouds that are floating by. She is completely present in, I guess I should show these a little bit closer, huh? She is completely in the moment and present with her own gifts. And I love this because this is the Queen of Wands. This is creativity. This is passion. This is about following our bliss. This is about a transformative, creative energy that we have here with the Queen of Wands. And instead of grasping at something that you don't have or think is going to be better than what you have, sitting with and staying with and being loyal to it, loyal to and true to what you have. So this really speaks to me in regards to, because it's the wands, it's creative energy, it's fire. So in terms of my painting, so I struggle a lot with my painting and with working on my oracle deck, because I always think, I see other amazing artists and I think, I can't do that. Like, I wish I could do that. I can't do that. And so then what I end up doing is nothing at all. And that's not very conducive or helpful, right? I need to be true to my own gifts, because in working on my own gifts, of course, they will continue to improve. And so not worrying about what other people can do better than I can do, but just staying focused on my own creative energies is the best way for me to grow. And not by doing nothing, I actually, you can lose the skills that you have, or you're not practicing them. So that's for me, that's a good message to remind myself of that. But I think, of course, that can remind us, all of us, are, where does your passion, where is your bliss? How do you express yourself creatively? And are you using that? Are you being true to those gifts? Because if they're just laying dormant, you're not using them and you're not being true to them, and they, are sliding away from you. So don't worry about other people who may look like they have bigger gifts than you have, and may have bigger skills in something, or more money, or whatever it is. Don't look to what other people have, but focus on and be present with what you have, because that's the way that you're going to be able to grow what you already have. And I love that we have the Fool here, because we have this very happy, looks to be a child, I would say, enjoying some fruit, or enjoying kind of just all in, enjoying what he's eating. A fool sits on a grassy patch of land. He enjoys the warm atmosphere and a mid-afternoon snack. Again, very present in where he is. He's not thinking about where is he going to go after this. He's not even really thinking about how he got there. He is just sitting down. He's enjoying this moment in his life, right? This very moment is an eternity. It's something I actually do believe. We are only ever promised right here and right now. Tomorrow, or the next minute, or the 5 minutes from now, that is not here yet. It doesn't even exist. What was 5 minutes ago no longer exists. So the only thing that really matters is right here and right now, and being present in that with that sense of joy, and fully focused on his food. He doesn't look like he's worried about, maybe somebody over here has a lobster dinner. Maybe this person across the next village is having, some amazing a vegetarian dish or something of that nature, but he is just focused and enjoying his moment here and now, with this queen being fully present in her own gifts, and not losing the moment by being focused on something else that might be better. That's really beautiful, because then when we have this happen, which seems very static, right? She's in this moment. He is in this moment, right? But then we end up with the Eight of Wands, where we read the Eight of Wands the last time. I think it was the last time that we talked, but you have this beautiful flying energy, right? These three people are on the back of this gorgeous, air spirit or air goddess of some kind, and have this movement. I'm trying to find it here so we can get to know this deck together. Yeah, the force of the emerging person sends winds bending the trees on the ground to their limits. So this is manifesting possibilities. This idea of, we often see the 8 wands going back, and you got to be ready to grab hold of it, right? But the only way to do that is actually being present. I really love that sort of dichotomy of this, that in some ways you want to be prepared to grab the winds of change, right? But at the same time, the only way to really do that is to be fully present in the now. And then when that comes, you'll be ready to take it, and that will become your now. So I love this concept of being present as being what is preparing you for what's to come. Because if we're not present and enjoying what we have now, we won't be able to build on that until we reach those opportunities. We reach those abilities to shift and to change. if going back to my painting analogy, if I keep painting, right, if I keep stretching and growing, there'll be those opportunities where you always feel, if you've ever tried to master, you know, playing an instrument or painting or something of that nature, you always have these moments where you feel like you're stuck, and then you have this moment that you kind of know you've taken another step forward, right? There's this opportunity for this shift in what it is that you're trying to accomplish, but you're never going to get that if you're not fully present in where you are now, instead of worrying about what somebody else is doing, or that there is something else that is better than what you have. So I quite like that. I think that's a great message, and I hope that you enjoyed this message as well. Let me zoom in on these real quick, because I do want you to, I don't know if they're going to show up too well. It's a little bit darker in here, but we'll leave it there for a minute. But I hope that this has said something to you. I am greatly enjoying doing these little combo readings like this, a little bibliomancy, a little cartomancy, and I'm enjoying it. So I hope that you have an absolutely wonderful evening and or day if you're watching this at a different time in the daytime.